All right, now we just talked about how many solutions we can expect from an equation based on the degree of the polynomial. What's the degree of this polynomial?
3.
3, so how many solutions am I expecting to get from you guys? 3, so if you don't give me 3, then something's up. Now, if I'm going to use the zero factor theorem, I've got to follow that to the T. So, zero factor theorem, the first letter stands for 0. How do I make this equal to 0?
Minus 125.
So when I subtract the 125x over, I have 5x to the third minus 125x equals 0. Thank you for remembering that. So I've done the 0 part. What does the F stand for? Factor. So we've got to factor this guy.
Take out 5. X.
I've got a common factor of 5x, so I take out the 5x. And what's left inside?
X squared.
Okay, x squared.
Times 25.
X squared minus 25. So did I factor this guy?
No.
No. There's more to be done. See, just because you take out a common factor doesn't mean you're done. Look at what's left. I've got x squared minus 25. What else can I do with that?
X plus 5 and x minus 5.
It's the difference.
Times x plus
No, you
5
no.
times x minus 5.
No, you're okay with the way you said it before. This is the difference of squares, so you get x plus 5 times x minus 5. You know I like the difference of squares. How many factors do you see here?
3.
I see 1, 2, 3. So let's get our 3 answers. Let's start back here at the back. What does x equal?
Negative 5.
X equals 5, or x equals negative 5, or x equals what?
Negative 5 is 1/2.
Now let's back up here. There seems to be some confusion. How do we get x equals 5? You took x minus 5 equal to 0, and you solved this for x by getting x by itself, right? So over here, I need to take 5x and set that equal to 0. When I solve this to get x by itself, I would have to divide both sides by 5, right?
Yeah.
Which, as Crystal was saying, means x equals what?
0.
X equals 0. If I tell you that 5 somethings equals 0, how much is each something? 0. So you see here we do have our 3 solutions. X equals 0, negative 5, and x equals positive 5. Questions about that one? Notice that all we're doing is we're taking those factoring techniques we've talked about before, and we're now incorporating those into our equations. Because these are equations that we could not solve at the beginning of the semester. You guys have come a long way. Let's look at x to the third plus 28 equals 7x squared plus 4x. How many solutions am I expecting to have from this guy? 4?
5.
5?
3.
What's the degree of your
4.
polynomial? 3, right?
It's because I added them.
Well, yeah, really? If you added to get 5, what about the x to the first? So, the degree of your polynomial is 3. I expect to have 3 solutions. Now, before I can do that, though, I have to use the zero factor theorem. That means I have to get everything to one side. How do I do that?
Subtract them.
So when I subtract them, and make sure you put them in descending order, that's going to help you out. So x cubed, then what?
7x squared.
Minus 7x squared.
Minus 4x.
You subtracted the 4x over, and we already had a positive 28 on this side. What's the first thing I always look for when I'm factoring? Common factor. Do I have a common factor for all of these guys? No. How many terms do I have?
4.
So when I have 4 terms, I'm not looking at the difference of squares or the sum and difference of cubes. I'm not even looking at a trinomial where I go straight to the 2 sets of parentheses. 4 terms means we factor by grouping. So in the first group, what's the common factor?
X squared.
X squared, and what am I left with?
X minus 7.
X minus 7. The second group, which consists of the terms negative 4x plus 28, what's the common factor there?
4x.
Negative 4.
It's negative 4, not 4x.
I mean, 4
X
times
minus
4.
7.
How many times x?
Plus 7.
Plus, yeah, minus.
Plus or minus?
Minus.
Should be minus.
Yeah, so
Now, this is not factored yet. This is that middle step for factoring by grouping. How do I finish the factoring?
X squared.
X
X minus 7 times x squared minus 4. equals
X
0.
minus 7 was that common factor that you see right here. And the rest of this is x squared minus 4.
I can go farther.
How do I finish factoring x squared minus 4?
It would be x
X minus
minus
2.
2x plus 2.
Okay. This is the difference of squares, x plus 2x minus 2. You go ahead and bring down the x minus 7 that's already part of your factorization. How many factors do I have? 3. How many solutions will that give me? 3. How many solutions did I expect? 3, because the degree of my polynomial was 3. All right. So what does x equal?
7.
X equals 7, or x equals,
Negative 2.
X equals negative 2.
or x equals positive 2. So if you were to plug these back into the original equation individually, one at a time, like replace all the x's with 7, that should check out. Replace all the x's with negative 2, that should work out. Or if you replace all the x's with positive 2, that would give you a true statement as well. Any questions about this problem? So you see how it requires us to know how to factor by grouping and use the difference of squares and use the zero factor theorem. We keep building on what we've learned. Okay? So it's not a matter of freaking out, it's a matter of knowing what can I do. I have the tools, which ones do I use, which ones are applicable. Okay? Like here, even though this guy was a cube, I'm not going to use the difference of cubes. I have too many terms. I have 4 terms, so that's factoring by grouping. Down here, I make sure I factor everything completely. This has 2 terms. It's a difference. These guys are both squares. So it's the difference of squares.